Thank you, Richard, and I used to look like him. So I can't fool you. Well, a lot of things have been said today, and everybody has said it. And I think that it's been a great afternoon, morning. I just want to thank our leadership, Judy, Ordayo, Annie, Underwood, for sponsoring the Asian Pacific Serving Institutions, which is now law. Norm Mineta, who wrote the first transportation law, ICE-T, which took politics out of funding, and also HR 442. And you know, Senator Akaka had the best bill for the Filipino veterans that didn't make it through, but we need to know that he had the best bill for the veterans. Filipino veterans. You heard Bobby Scott. You know, people looked at him and said, "Is he Asian?" Of course he is. He's quarter Filipino. And his colleagues in the CBC said, "We didn't know you were Filipino." And he said, "Well, you never asked." So our caucus is eclectic, and we represent the Asian American experience in this country, and we represent the diaspora. Folks like Jackie Spear represents the peninsula, where there's a lot of Asian Americans there. And Al Green from Houston represents the largest Vietnamese community, and he's our task force chair for housing. And this past year, he put into place, institutionalized Asian American concerns in that whole process, so that in the area of housing, we have some place to go to make sure that our communities will have a voice in the area of housing. And it doesn't stop. Al Green's not the reverend, he's not the singer, he does all of it. So I just want to let you all know this. I say this because KPAC and APAHM also has evolved from initial works, all from that people sometimes we forget. And what we're trying to do today and share with you is that history. And so it took some time, but I'm glad that you bore with us and listened to this. But the key now is to spread the story. How many of you are elected officials? Stand up, I just want to see all of us. Stand up. Come on, stand up. Elected officials, come on. And we have commissioners and appointees. But these are folks that put themselves on the line and say, I've got to do something. And it's because there's a fire in their gut to do something. And there's got to be a fire in your gut for being here. And one of it is that you've heard our speakers about our bills and the kinds of things that we're facing. So a lot of good things happen in Congress under the dome. But we hear a lot of the negative things. These are the positive things that are happening for our communities. And if it happens for our community, it happens for every American in this country. So we must keep that in mind. APIs have a lot to give. You know, Judy talked about the growing number of Asian Pacific Islander federal judges and appointees, up to 17 now, doubled under Obama. We got elected officials, as we see here, and the rise of celebrities and entertainers and artists because of our work with Comcast and MSNBC and the other groups. We have the issue of healthcare, where we coupled up with folks like Christensen and Barbara Lee and the Tri-Caucus. But the Tri-Caucus is a powerful leverage in the political aspect and desires that we have for our own communities. So remember that we are here as your resource and your leverage for the things that go on. None of that happened in the healthcare without your input over the last 10, 15 years. So our success is based upon you telling us what it is that you need. Take advantage of us. So, you heard Judy Chu talk about 1882. Pelosi talked about the bill that's going through both sides of Congress. Since we have representation both sides, we can move things, but we can only move it with vigor when people like yourselves knowing how to do that at the ground level. And some of the folks that help us at the ground level is people like Naomi Yukon, who's our representative in the Democratic National Committee, the Asian representative for all of us, and there's going to be more, and there are more, and she happens to be related to Bob Underwood by marriage. But that's okay, you know, that's okay. So my point is, and I need to be quick, but I just wanted to let you know that we must continue to initiate issues. We must continue to communicate our issues and put our faces on those issues. We must continue to eliminate the bad things. Now, Congress is a living organism responsible for the things that we've done in the past. 1882, Executive Order 9066, all the other kinds of things that we say and we hang our head in shame. The rescission of the monies for the veterans, Filipino veterans. It's a living organism that's responsible for its past, good things and bad things. It's responsible for what we do today. It's a linkage to the future. So we must always remember that we have to keep Congress responsible to you, to your community, whether you're a state or a territory. Whether you're a state or a territory, we are responsible to you. It's an organic, living organism. You cannot allow us to say to you, well, that was in the past, let's forget it. It has to be corrected. Part of our job is to correct past actions and to correct it today for tomorrow. That gives people hope and trust and confidence in the Congress. And remember, all of us, whether you're local officials or not, that we do not take an oath to the government. We take an oath to the Constitution. We don't put our hands on a Bible or the Quran. That's ceremonial. We put our right hand up and we take an oath to the Constitution. And as it was said before, we do these things because we know that each and every one of us have a right in this country to vote, to become citizens, to exercise our rights, to pursue happiness, liberty. And we also know that the Constitution was written by people who really understood that there's an imperfection in this country. And the government they're trying to put together imperfect. And so that phrase in the Constitution, in order to form a more perfect union, we hold these things self-evident. And you yourself here today prove to us that you understand that this is self-evident and that we're going to take the responsibility today and tomorrow for the actions of Congress of yesterday, today, and tomorrow to make sure that we do the right thing. Let me close with a phrase from Martin Luther King. In his last speech, before he was murdered, he mentioned the kinds of people that make decisions in this country. He talked about the coward who wants to know what other people are thinking. He talked about the person who wants to be popular and say, who else is doing this? But he said, this country is dependent on people of conscience to do the right thing. And this is the expectation that we have of ourselves and that you have of us. Together we can make this place a more perfect union. Thank you and have a real good day.